Hey, what's going on, guys? It's been a while since I've been on here. This is the King's Review. I changed my name from King of Games 908 to the King's Review because I wanted to do other stuff on my channel just besides video gaming or talking about video games or doing unboxings and stuff like that. Just an overall channel of everything I like to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk about, well, really the only thing I want to talk about is a new knife that I recently got. This right here is probably one of the best knives that I have ever owned, and it just looks good. This knife here is made by a company called Colorado River Knives. It's CRKT. This knife here is called the Fossil. It is the Ikoma Fossil, because that's who it is designed by. And if you notice, it actually kind of looks like bone or withered bone, like fossil and stuff like that. It does have of course, the clip here on the side. And we'll talk about why my cons with this knife. This knife here is not spring. It does have this little bitty thing right here. It is a ball bearing pivot system. So even though it's not a spring action with very little effort, it comes out. The lock design is, of course, inside here. You just pull to the side and it pulls down. Back to the actual knife part itself, comes out very easily. Another thing I like about this is if you actually look at the design of the blade itself, it kind of does look like a dinosaur, with, you know, the top of the head here, the eye hole coming down to the snout. This is a very, very aggressive looking knife, as you can tell. And as you can see here, it is called the Fossil there, from Ikoma Designs. The serrations there are extremely aggressive. You have a nice little finger choil right here, and you also have one down here. The flip mechanism actually makes a good finger guard when you're starting to cut something. This knife, extremely sharp as it comes out. Let me see if I can find a piece of paper real quick. So this knife here, very hard to cut a receipt, I'm sorry. But it just kind of splinters right through it, and if you get it caught on these, like I said, these are extremely aggressive. The little bitty hooks here. Now, this knife, I said, very good knife. I love this knife. This is my everyday carry that I have. I have plenty of knives, some of which will be on here later on in more episodes. But this knife here, we're going to talk about the cons. This is CRKT. This is a made in America knife. This is not a knife that's been made in China or Japan, so it is more expensive than most knives, and it's also made of a higher quality than other knives are. This knife right here generally retails for about $80. I was able to get it on a very special deal for $50. You can look them up, and usually you can find certain deals and specials that they have. Here are my two cons with this knife. It's only two cons. The first con is, of course, these aggressive things. I know what you're saying, but they look so cool. They do look cool. That's one of the reasons I actually bought the knife in the first place, was because of how cool they looked. The problem is going to be later on down the line, because the reason being is because you see how aggressive those are, you see how they are and stuff like that. Sharpening this knife is going to be a bear. The tip of the blade up through here, not a problem. I can do that usually with a ceramic cone or, you know, whatever else you use to sharpen your knife. These, however, are not going to be easily sharpened. I'm almost thinking chainsaw file like for these types of teeth up here, because it's just, once they start to get dull, it's going to be extremely hard to sharpen and keep these actual sharp. And that's what a lot of people don't realize about knives. People think that, well, if you bought a good knife, it would never go dull. No. Through practical use of a knife, okay, if you're actually using the knife, it's going to go dull. I do not care how high quality of you know, knives that you actually buy and stuff like that. it is going to go dull. You're going to have to properly maintain the maintenance on your knife and make sure that it stays sharp. I know people, particularly the people that cut my beard and stuff like that. The only place I actually let cut my beard, the scissors they use were made by the same guy who designed the samurai sword in Kill Bill. So they're extremely expensive. They're $1,000 a pair, scissors, and they still have to be sent out regularly every 3 months for sharpening and maintenance. So it does not matter how much you spend on a knife. The price that you pay depends on how long the actual edge decides to stay. Now, the second con to this knife is this clip. I cannot stand this clip. Now, listen to the reasoning behind it. Okay, just listen to the reasoning behind it. First of all, it's got that lovely specific groove like that, which means, that this right here catches on everything. If you've got it in your pocket, it catches on my steering wheel. It catches on absolutely everything. And I have looked all over this knife. There is no other place that you can actually place this right here. Now, personal preference for me, when I'm putting a knife in my pocket, I like it to set a certain way. I would much rather prefer it be on this side, because it would sit in my pocket just like this. Pretend that this is the front of my pocket up towards the zipper area, and this is the back of the pocket. If it was here, the knife would sit just like this. That's the way I like it to be set. It sits back at the edge of the pocket. You've got plenty of room for other stuff. There's no problems with getting your hand in and out of your pocket to get your knife or anything else that's in there. When it's on this side, the knife sits like this. It can't sit all the way back in there, and it sits with its back up against there. Now, I understand that probably the reason why they do this is so that the blade doesn't accidentally come out because it's sandwiched up against the back of your pocket. Nonetheless, it's very awkward to pull this knife out of your pants pocket and put it back in. That's one of the bigger problems. Another thing that I really like about this is, if you see right here, it's got this closed back design so that a lot of dust and debris doesn't get in there. And the other con, like I said, with this belt loop thing, when you go to grab a hold of this knife and you're holding it, it directly touches and comes in contact with the palm of your hand. So you have to be extremely careful. Either do it with an oval-shaped hold, because if you're doing it flat, you're going to rip your hand wide open on this clip right here. Other than that, this right here is a extremely good knife. Like I said, I've been carrying it around here for about a month now, and it's went through everything I put up against it. So, again, this is the CRKT Fossil Ikoma design. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be bringing you some more stuff, not just all knife stuff, more things, just stuff I find interesting. So, that's it for this video, guys, and I hope y'all have a good one. Bye.